Well, hi, welcome to my latest video. Well, in this one, I'm going to open up my PrimoChill Praxis Wetbench that I just bought. It has to be put together. It comes in a flat pack that I'll show you in a moment, in this long flat box here. Plain wrapping, except for a label, the shipping label they put on it. And that has to be assembled. So I'm going to probably speed through that as I assemble it. The reason I got it is I have one that I made a few years back, and I have a whole video series on how I made that from an old PC case back to my very first video I put up on this channel when I took that PC case apart. Well, it turned out I have more motherboards and configurations to test than even that one can support. I mean, I have one on there I want to keep for another reason. I don't want to take it apart, so I need a second one anyway, and this one will allow me to maybe experiment with water cooling a little bit more. At least I'll be able to put an AIO on it, because it has room for actually two of those if I wanted to. So let me go ahead now and put it together. You'll see the links to how you can purchase them down in the notes below. There's a black version and a white version, and I went ahead and bought the white version. Maybe someday in the future, if I need a third one, which, you know, it's kind of hard to believe, but you never know. I didn't think I need a second one. Then I might go for the black one just to have some variety. So let's get started. Let me open this thing up, show you what's inside, and we'll take it from there. Okay, let's get this guy opened up. Okay. Nice cushioning. Gives you a little brochure book here, it looks like, for ordering other models, I guess, and maybe some accessories. I understand there's quite a bit of expansion you can do to this by buying additional pieces to it. I bought the one that's sort of at a slant. It's not the flat version, but I guess you can buy a new top and make it the flat version. We'll see. Okay. Got a little piece of candy in here. I heard about that. They put a little piece of sour candy. I'm not sure if we can eat that or not, but I'd kill to have it. Take this out of the way. Hey, more candy. So they give us like 3 of these things, huh? Red, blue, green. RGB. Okay, the first thing here, I guess this is the actual main part where you mount the motherboards. Let's see. A lot of bubble wrap on it, that's for sure. Yep. I guess it goes like this though, right? Nope. It's got to be Praxis, so it's got to go like this. So that's probably the way it's going to go at a slight 45-degree, not quite maybe, angle. The motherboards will mount here, and other cables will come up through the sides here. A lot of this foam. It's nice quality foam too, so I will reuse it for something, I'm sure. My granddaughter probably liked drawing on this piece of cardboard here, really nice, flat. What do we got here? Oh yeah, it's got these little stickum rubber attachments. So cushion certain areas of it that might be a little bit rougher on the PC components. That's interesting. 2 sets of that. Looks like a tray, probably, oh, maybe for the cooler that goes in the back. We'll find out. What is this? This is the back tray, it looks like. So you can room for another cooler over here. It looks like it could hold a 360. That's probably in the back, right? A lot of this foam, huh? They're making sure it's not gonna... Oh, here's the gooseneck. That's for putting the fan. Doesn't bend very easily. There it goes. So I'll have to put that on the side because definitely we'll use that. And then it has another piece here. Looks like these might be the drive holders that go on the bottom. Comes with some long screws, nuts. Okay. Looks like the same type of thing, probably for the bottom, or at least underneath the motherboard tray. Oh, here's this. I think this is the side tray where you can put another cooler, probably a 280 or a 240. It's already got the rubber things installed on it. Okay. A lot of foam that they really spent a lot of time cutting, huh? Oh, it looks like it's, oh, this is the part that stands up and holds the PCIe cards. And they have all the screws and other components that are in here. I'll open it up in a minute. And we'll put, as we put it together. Some more foam. The foam never ends. Oh, another one of these. Granddaughter will appreciate that. And some more components. Looks like this is the two side trays. Yeah, they're at an angle. So it's probably about a 30-degree angle. And I got to the left and the right sides. Put that on the side here. More foam. A third piece of cardboard. And I guess we get the other trays. This is the tray that probably goes in the middle. Yeah, this is the tray that looks like it goes in the middle. Yep. Taking it all out, I hope it doesn't cause a problem as I put it together, but I'll figure it out as I do it. Nice solid high gauge metal. I'll try to measure the gauge and put it up on the screen here, but it's pretty good. I mean, this is like as thick as any PC case I've ever seen, so it should be nice and sturdy. Oh, it looks like some more things for the drives. That's my guess. Looks like two sets of these things. Yeah, one's in a wrapping, one's not. One's a little bit bigger than the other one. I guess one might be 5 1/4 inch, and the other one might be, 2.5. Put that on the side. Some more padding. And finally, it looks like I hit the bottom. Yep, finally hit the bottom of the box. So that's it. Let me sort everything out and see how I can get this thing assembled. Okay, for part one, this is how we lay out the parts, and this is how we're going to put it together. We have the two side pieces, and we have the center shelf. It has to be oriented, as I've shown here, to match up the holes. Because on each side of these, there are 4 holes right in the middle, and they have to line up with the 4 holes accordingly. So make sure you see the notches in the same location here. You will need these M4 × 6, and you will need 4 for each side, and you will need the wrench that'll use, the hex wrench, in order to screw these little screws in. Now, if you lift the center piece up to this direction, you'll see a little lip here. That lip has to go underneath the opening on that side, because the actual screw holes that will catch it, the threads, are over here. As opposed to these two, the far ones, they do not have screw holes on them. Okay? So we'll put it just like this, and then we'll screw them down with the hex wrench. And that completes step one. Now, if you have hard drives or SSD drives, you would get these screws, the M3 by 5mm for SSDs, and you get the 6/32 by 1/4 inch, and you would use those to secure them. For example, even though I won't install them now, you pick the outer slots and you install the hard drives. The screws will line up. And then for the SSD, you can pick the inner ones, and you can actually put 2 of them here. Looks like there's just enough room to get 2 of them on each side if you want. And then the opening goes right there. Okay? Same thing here, you can get the opening right here if you want. I'm not going to install that now. Now for the next step, we would install the hard drive, and it has brackets. This is the bracket for the back of the hard drive. Okay? It has a rubber gasket already installed in the one I got. You would use the screws that came with the PSU, and you would install it that way. And the other one's just an open end, and it's just going to lie in there. Okay, once we've installed it. These brackets would then be secured from the bottom of this middle shelf. So let me go ahead and do that next. Now we need part 6, the M4 8mm, to hold the drive bays in. There should be more than enough to install those 4 tabs in there. Now if you're installing optical drives or swappable hard drives, which is what I'm going to do, if you use these two brackets that came with it, turn this around because I want to access that from the front. I'll use these long slots here for that. And we need 4 more of those M4x8. We get the 5 1/4 inch bays set for, in my case, a swappable hard drive. So now in the next step, I need to put this aside, and we're going to work on the motherboard top. So for this one, we're going to be installing 2 things. We're going to be installing the bracket for the PCI, for the graphics cards, and we're going to be installing each of the offsets for the motherboard itself when we mount it onto this platform. Let me start, however, by at least installing these connectors. These are the switches, the reset switch and the power on switch. They've got 2 little rubber gaskets to them. Here's pictures of the switches. You will see on the left what they look like with no connectors on them or cables on them. And on the right, you will see with the cables on them. What you want to do is connect one of those little insulated cable caps to the C connector, which is the bottom one of the 3, and then to the NO connector, which is the middle one, which means normally open. Both of them are done the exact same way. The only thing you have to worry about is if you look at where they're going in terms of the motherboard connectors, one of them is marked the power switch and the other one is marked the power LED, the 2 separate ones. Connect the power LED ones to the reset switch if you want to use that switch for the reset. So now we have these installed with the wires. As I said, you got to be careful when you use them. One is actually labeled the power switch and the other one is labeled the power LED. We're going to be using the power LED one for the reset switch, okay? So make sure we understand which one is which. So the power switch one I'm going to put onto this one, and the other one I'm going to put here. Put the gasket on first, then insert it, and then we put the nut on. Finger tight is good enough. Put the gasket on. That protects the coating, powder coating from the paint. I'll put the nut on. I'm going to bend the outer ones out of the way. They're meant for being mounted to a printed circuit board. Now I'll find the one that I have for the power switch, which is the one that's already connected as the double. I'm putting the power switch here. Now I need the long standoffs for the motherboard. Part number A. I need the motherboard nuts, part 1. And I need the motherboard standoffs, part 3. So there's 14 of each. Put those in. Okay, all done. I only put the 9 that are most common. I'll save the others as backups. I don't need them right now. Let me try a motherboard I have handy over here and see if I can get it in there. I think this is only using 6, but that's okay. Let me get this on here. And it fits. So let me go ahead and get ready for the final steps on this, okay? Time to insert the main motherboard tray. It does say to install 4 screws in these holes first. This looks like it has keyholes. Just get them started, apparently. You have 4 keyholes that are on the other part of that. Okay, it's actually quite a good quality metal. This should now just slide right on top and come right down onto the keyholes. Then I can insert, okay, now to put on the back bracket. Well, I gotta turn this around. And this is gonna go back here. It's gonna be held on with 4 screws. So I'll put those in place now because it looks like these have keyhole connectors to it. I won't go all the way down, obviously. And then this should go right on there like this. And I can tighten up those 4 screws. Okay, now I gotta spin it around one more time so I can get this side rad on, holder, right here. And it's got a little lip here on the bottom of it that I can screw through those holes and connect this guy up. Feed the screws through first. There we go with that. Then just feed this one through here, and I think we're done for now, until I put a motherboard on here and put a radiator and get it all set up. Okay, well, it's all done. One thing I forgot to show was putting the fan on here. I decided to pick one of my spare PWM 140 millimeter fans that I had that fits perfectly in there. The gooseneck is very tight, but it works. I'm eventually going to get at least one AIO, and we'll see whether I go for a more standard custom type water cooling system as well onto this, at least at some point in the future, I'm sure. Right now I have one of my spare motherboards on here. It's a X570 I put on. I didn't turn it on yet, but I went ahead and put on the 3060 Ti that I have, and I'm going to do some initial testing with that, and we'll see how it pans out, and then I'll switch over to the 4090 with the same motherboard, same memory, same configuration, and we'll see how that goes. So I just wanted to let everybody know a couple of things about it. As I saw somebody else's review, the screws that hold this part on, they're the same ones that are holding everything else together. They're kind of short, so I'll probably try to get longer versions of that. They're M3 screws. Maybe with nuts would be even better to go through all the way through on the other side. But I'm still going to add to this. For example, in the front here, I'm going to be adding a 5¼ inch bay that'll allow me to put in either a hard drive or a 2½ inch SSD, as using SATA to the rest of it, just so I can try different operating systems more easily with that. After that, I'll just have to decide on what coolers I want to put on here in terms of water-based coolers, either AIOs or eventually, like I said, a full custom type of system as well. So thanks for watching.